SkYPEAnxietyCenter.com.
Hi, Jim. It's Debbie.
Hello, Debbie. How are you?
I've been so.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm starting in again with some anxiety issues, with focusing in on my heart again, thinking of that. So That's what I'm up to. I did have another friend of mine that was sick and just passed away a few weeks ago. So I guess, I don't know.
Wow.
But she was a friend. She's been sick for 2 years, but she just passed away. But it doesn't matter. You know why? Because, she FaceTimed me 3 and 4 times a day, and she lived near me, and then it's all over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hair on earth, meaning,
Yeah.
So I'm starting with that feeling like I'm going, and I do go out, but I'm starting with that little bit of apprehension and feeling, touching my neck all the time, seeing if my heart is still beating normal,
Yeah.
I'm starting that.
Yeah. Have you been to the doctor again about your heart recently?
Yeah. Said it's fine.
Yeah.
I do have the leaky heart valves, which he said will cause me to have skipped heartbeats. He says that's from the mitral valve, prolapse, and the leaky aorta valve. He said that, just that's what it's from. He said, and they're finding out that if you don't sleep good at night, sometimes during the day it's going to be worse. They don't know the reason why, he said, but it just happens. He said, and when you have that mitral valve prolapse like I do in the leaky valve, he said, like your whole, I don't know how to say the word, anatomic system is all wired differently than the average. He said, and they're finding out for some reason it does cause anxiety. Like not you doing it yourself, but it makes you kind of feel anxious. Like, because you're wired like differently. He said, I bet you have low blood sugar too. I said, yeah, I do. But not where I'm sweating and, getting my heart beating fast. I know how to control that because I eat good and everything, no sugar.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I'm doing it myself and like I'm sleeping and dreaming crazy too. That's how I know it's anxiety.
Yeah, your stress is up, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, did your doctor ever give you any dietary considerations to be aware of?
No, actually, I've lost weight because I watch what I eat all the time. And one doctor told me, eat whatever you want. Go out and eat a slice of pizza and that. And, you need to gain some weight. But I eat healthy where I try to not have not a lot of fatty foods and try to keep my cholesterol, because I'm not a medicine person at all. I mean, if I have to take it, I have to, but I try to do things on my own.
Yeah. And, but he didn't say to stay away from stimulants or those kind of things, or do you?
No, he never did, but I knew that from my mother when she had atrial fibrillation. That's what it all boils down to, the atrial fibrillation. That's what I'm afraid of getting.
Right, yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So that's like creeping in my head. I knew she couldn't have caffeine and anything to make her heart, or even like dark chocolate, because that has caffeine. She used to eat that. She had to stay away from all that because it would trigger that.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, is there a specific reason why you are starting to worry about your heart again?
I don't know. I just started. Like one day I felt a skip and I just kept obsessing over it.
Okay.
Like that. I started obsessing and I said, oh goodness, I hope it's like I'm not a year older and I'm getting closer to getting atrial fibrillation. That's what I'm doing. Because the one heart specialist had told me, he said, oh, because your mom has it, because she was his patient too. You're going to get it too. I said, you should have never told me that. I said, well, how do you know I didn't take after my father's heart? He never had atrial fibrillation. He says to me, well, because you have the same problem she has with the leaky valve. I said, right, okay. So that stayed in my head. So when I feel that, I say to myself, oh, is it coming now? I don't know what it is. Like, I did obsess over that atrial fibrillation because my mom used to like call me 2 and 3 in the morning. I'd be sleeping. Oh, my heart! It put a fear in me. My heart's beating at 180. What should I do? Or, constantly. Oh, I feel this way. It's doing this, and I don't want to feel nervous inside, but my whole body is off. So it kind of put like fear in me. Understandable.
Yeah.
So that just lingers. When I start feeling a little skip here and there, I go, oh God, I hope it's not coming.
Yeah. And yeah, you've been afraid of this for some time, right?
Yes, and it stopped for a while, but for some reason now it's starting again.
Yeah. Yeah. Likely because either stress is elevated or you've just rekindled that fear again, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have to deal with medical things over the course of time.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, as we get older too.
Yep. We just get more.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. But, it doesn't do any good to worry about it.
No.
No, worry.
That's what the doctor told me. He said, when I first started with it, he said, you can worry, you can not get it. Let's say you never get it, or you do get it in your 90s. He said, you're going to waste your whole life worrying about it. He said, that's not good. He said, and my medical doctor says, if you want it, keep doing what you're doing. You're going to bring it on, thinking of it constantly. Well, that's what he said, but oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, we all have things we have to, that are medical things that bother us as we get older, especially as we get older. Sometimes we have multiple things. And we have to make a choice whether we're going to worry about them, which is going to make them worse, or not worry about them and, just let time play out. Be aware of the things that we want to do to prevent aggravating them, but certainly not worry about them because, as you know, worry doesn't solve anything. You worrying about that's not going to prevent it, right?
I know. You're right.
Yeah.
Like he told me, if it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah.
And it's not funny because I'm sorry for the people with COVID that have had it. And because I had gone to his office for a visit and he was talking about COVID. He goes, I know you're not worried about COVID at all. I mean, that doesn't scare you. He says, what scares you is about atrial fibrillation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he is right.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? He is right.
Yeah. And that's because you've latched onto it as being a threat.
Yes.
And established a fear about it. So whenever your heart does things that you feel are abnormal, you're going to, react to it, and then it can trigger that fear again. But, in these cases, like all anxiety, it all comes down to what are we going to do with the thinking? Are we going to allow ourselves to worry about things, or are we not going to worry about them? Because it comes down to that choice. There's no magic remedy. But it just requires us making that choice every time those fears pop up, right?
I know.
How's your sleep been?
My sleeping is good.
Oh, good.
My sleeping is good. There's some nights I want to stay up. I force myself to stay up because this is crazy, but I don't want to dream like scary dreams and the weird dreams I have. So I force myself to stay up because I say if I really, really get myself tired, maybe I won't have those weird dreams. And the later I fall asleep, I don't have the dreams.
Gotcha.
It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing with scary dreams is that they're caused by stress, right?
I know.
That's because when we're dreaming and the body is boosting cortisol by itself and we're still in the dream state, that's going to bring on, thoughts of fear and flight and all those things. And so if we don't want to have those kind of dreams, then we want to bring our stress down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And on my phone, I have the little tape of yours when you're having a panic attack. Just calm down. And that helps me so much.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It really, really does.
Yeah.
That's on my phone, right on the home page.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If I'm ever feeling that, I hit it. I pull my car over to the side and I listen to it and I feel much better.
Yeah.
I really do.
Oh, good.
It feels good. It's like you have somebody there coaching you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's exactly what it is. You have somebody there coaching you who understands what you're going through.
Yeah.
Instead of somebody saying to you, oh, get yourself together. It's okay. what happened? No, nothing has to happen. Comes out of the blue. I could be sitting down laughing, hysterical laughing, and all of a sudden have it. A
Yeah.
manic attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's
So,
the reality that all of us face is that just as we can use our imagination to scare ourselves with the imagined what ifs, because that's what we do, what if this and what if that, we imagine worst case scenarios, we can also use our imagination to calm ourselves by imagining calm and soothing things. So by having, the audio on your device there, easy access, all it's really doing is changing your thinking. And that's why when it comes to anxiety, this is what we need to become really good at. We need to be intervening on our behalf so we don't let ourselves run down those what if trails.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those what if trails are the worst trails going.
Yep.
But I tell you what, some days I am a trooper and I fight it. And like I'm in Florida now. I originally from Brooklyn, and I'm about 45 miles from Tampa. And I do go out there to some of the shops out there, like Whole Foods or whatever, because it's not in my area. And I was like apprehensive to go. And I said, no, you're not going to do this. You don't need to be with somebody who's a driver. You'll be okay. And I got in my car and went.
There you
Said
go.
plenty of prayers, but I do put on like my like Bible broadcasting channel, and I listen to that and hear them singing, and I feel a lot better.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. See, there's another way that you're distracting your thoughts away from the what ifs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if
I
this,
say, God be with me. I know you're going to be with me. And then when I get home, I always thank him. I say, thank you for making me make this trip. Like he's right in front of me too.
Yeah. And there you're finding ways to contain your anxiousness by relying on God, saying different things to yourself. And this is, again, we have to get really, especially anxious people, we have to get really good at changing the messages we're telling ourselves because,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Because it's been with me my whole life.
Yeah.
Since I'm 16 years old.
Yep.
I mean, not constantly. I was agoraphobic, and I beat that too with no medicine or anything. I just did it myself.
Yeah. That shows your strength of character.
Yeah.
So this fear here, you want to go after that with the same vengeance you did with agoraphobia, is just not allow yourself to scare yourself. Because, again, worrying about it's not going to change anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you look at...
I'm not interrupting you, but I just want to say one more thing. Like 4 years ago, I was with constantly having somebody to drive me around. I didn't want to do this, and I was afraid, and those weird like feelings of everything seemed like a dream. If I heard somebody with a chainsaw, I thought of the Texas Chainsaw. That's what my brain was doing to me. But I overcame all that too on my own without medicine.
Yep. Yeah, you did. And so you can do it. It's just that maybe sometimes this one, maybe you're being a little bit more casual with it because it's been around for a while. But if you want it to stop bothering you, then this is where you have to intervene on it as well, right?
I know. Yeah. And it's funny. I want to give somebody else a chance too. This is funny. This is my character. Like I can be out. Like one time I was with my son. I said, "There's something wrong with me. My body's shutting down." And this, but the next day I can laugh about that and say, "Oh my God, what was I doing?" And I laugh at myself for acting like that.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I really thought my body was shutting down. I felt like blood coming down through my head. He says, "But you're still breathing and talking."
Yeah.
And
that's, you raise a good point, because sometimes when our stress is elevated, and sometimes depending on how the body manages itself, if it gives us a boost of cortisol or stress hormones, it's going to make those things seem more significant than they actually are. And that's why, again, when the body adjusts itself via homeostasis and it drops those stress hormone levels, we're not as afraid, so we can see things more clearly. So as we're working at getting our stress down, recognize you can have moments where it seems worse than others and it seems better than others, but that's just an indication that the body's still stressed, and so the body's having a harder time managing itself. But as you reduce that stress overall, then things level out, and it's not as inconsistent as it is when we're hyperstimulated.
Right. You're right. You're 100% right. But I'm trying, so that's my story.
Well, good for you. Nice to hear from you. So, too bad we couldn't have connected the other time. I'm not sure what happened.
I know. I don't know what happened on my iPad. Something was changed with Skype, and I had to go in with all new identification. So I switched it all out again yesterday. I said, I hope I get on tomorrow. So I changed everything around, and I kept my fingers crossed. So I guess what I did worked.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we were able to connect.
I wanted to say if Carol's on to say hi to her. I don't know if she's on today.
I haven't heard from her today. No, she might be getting that
Okay.
updated surgery. So.
Oh, God bless her. I'll keep her in my prayers.
Yeah, if you would. Yeah, you bet.
Yes. All right, Jim. Thank you so much. And God bless you always for what you do and help everybody with anxiety.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And we certainly appreciate your prayers. And it's nice to hear from you. You know, I wanted to mention one other thing. You know, when you look at the three aspects of fear, like we only become afraid when three things come together. When we think something really bad is going to happen, we think it's imminent, and we don't have anything that we can protect ourselves against it. In this particular case, when you look at the facts, you don't have atrial fibrillation right now, do you?
No, I don't.
No. So you're not in immediate danger, are you?
No.
Right.
And I don't have high blood pressure either.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you're aware of anxiety issues, you're managing it. So when you really look at those elements of threats, the fear, you don't have them. So when that fear pops up and tries to spook you, you can recite that to you. No, I'm not in any danger. I don't have it. So there's no reason for me to be afraid.
Right. And I just have to say to myself, too, like my heart specialist told me, he said, and if you get it, you get it. We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Worry about that if you ever get it.
Yep.
He said, we'll take care of it.
Yep.
We'll treat it.
Yep. And so this is where we want to deal with the facts. Like, you know, when it comes to anxious people, we're always doing the what if, and we're imagining worst case scenarios, and we believe those worst case scenarios are actual fact. When this is where we have to challenge and say, no, that's not fact. I don't have this. I'm not in any danger here. Never mind. And we, as you know, as you keep trying to convince the amygdala to, you know, ease off of those threat messages, eventually it does. And so you might want to develop some statements for yourself that contain with, so that when those fears pop, you can quickly dispute them.
I know.
Yeah.
You're right. When I had gone to see a therapist once in Florida here, she says to me, I said, you know, about my history of, you know, she goes, so you did, this was a few years ago when I was starting that. And she goes, oh, you did this all before on your own. So that's telling me you could do it again. So you don't need no medication. No, I would never take it anyway.
Yeah. No, you've had lots of successes. So it's just,
I have had it. I've had, you know, and it is too, sometimes I dwell on too, I miss everybody that died. I start doing that in the nighttime. So, but that's normal. That's just grieving still, because totally. I miss my mother. She was my lifeline in this life, even though my mom had anxiety problems, but that's why it wore off on me, because she was, you know, that's, you know, a nervous woman. But anyway. She's gone with that now. She's in peace.
Yeah. No
I'm
more
the one
fear.
that's not.
Yeah. It's harder for us, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And living the way we live now. But again, I don't dwell on that about COVID and all that. I'm not frightened of it or none of that. I'm just not. Because my things are different things. Everybody's different in this life.
Yeah. We all have different things we concern ourselves with. Yeah. So keep up your good work, and I just encourage you to keep refuting that threat. And next time we chat, hopefully things will be better for you. And certainly bringing that stress down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for accepting my call too.
My great pleasure. Again, it's wonderful hearing from you.
Yeah. All right, Jim. Have a good week, and hopefully talk to you next month sometime.
That would be great. Yeah, I look forward to an update.
Okay.